This monologue is based on an interview with a woman who had a good experience with a man. This monologue is called Because He Liked to Look at It.
This is how I came to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in the bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Inya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only a reflection of the hatred and repression of our patriarchal society. It isn't real. Pussies unite! I know all of it. Like, if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs all day, thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it, and from that moment on, I wished I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. So, in order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Cozy futons with light cotton comforters, little velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things, a silk handkerchief, quilted pot holder, a place setting. I grew so accustomed to doing this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I picture him inside a mink-lined muffler, a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I'd ever met. He was tall and thin and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. He didn't eat spicy food or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent time in the shade. He didn't share his inner feelings. He had no issues or problems. He wasn't even an alcoholic. He wasn't funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up the change I dropped on the deli floor. But as he was passing me my quarters and pennies, and his hand accidentally brushed mine, something happened. We went to bed together. And that's when the miracle occurred. You see, it turns out Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most of all, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he needed to see me. I'm right here. No, you. I need to see you. Well, turn on the light. I was thinking he was some kind of weirdo and was freaking out in the dark. So he turned on the light and he said, okay, I'm ready. Ready to see you.
Yeah.
Right here. Right here. And then he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I need to see you. Oh, there's no need. Let's just do it. I need to know what you look like, he said. Oh, Bob, you've seen a red leather couch before. Bob continued. He would not stop. I wanted to throw up and die. This is awfully intimate, Bob. Can't we just do it? No, he said. It's who you are. I need to look. I held my breath. He looked and looked, and his face changed. He got all breathy. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. You are so beautiful, he said. You are elegant and deep and innocent and wild. You saw that there? It was like he was reading my poem. I saw that, he said, and more. Much, much more. He stayed looking there for almost an hour, as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, gazing into my eyes. But it was my vagina. And in the light, I watched him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a painting or a waterfall. You see, Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. And I began to swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. And Bob, he lost himself there in my vagina. And I was with him. And we were gone.